I now recognize myself for 5 minutes. And General Sessions, you have to know that I hold you in tremendously high regard. And I know you've had a bumpy ride, but there are some of us that really appreciate who you are. With that, as the Justice Department knows, the House and Senate have conducted investigations into the illegal sale of little body parts of little babies by some Planned Parenthood executives, as made clear via undercover videos that surfaced 2 years ago. And according to a report yesterday published in The Hill, the FBI sought documents the Senate obtained from abortion providers as a result of their investigation into the illegal sale of these little body parts. And so if the FBI has requested what is now several thousand pages of testimony and findings the Senate has gathered through their investigation into Planned Parenthood, that may mean that they could be readying indictments against individuals who have committed the sale of these little body parts for profit. So I want to ask a question that you can answer, not put you in an impossible spot, but generally speaking, are findings made by any Senate investigation, any subsequent referral, sufficient evidence for the Justice Department to bring charges upon any party guilty of violating federal law?
Well, it depends on the substance of those congressional findings, but they certainly can provide a basis for starting an investigation, to verifying the findings of the Congress, and could provide a basis for charges.
Well, I think
that's an appropriate way for us to relate to one another.
Yes, sir. Well, I hope the Justice Department obviously will take a very close look at the evidence that the Senate is providing to the FBI. Given the standard that you have personally demonstrated for recusal to avoid even the appearance of partiality, it seems clear to me, this is my opinion, that Mr. Mueller should recuse himself based on your standard here from investigating involving Russian collusion a long time ago. That's my perspective. I've suggested many times that the existing Russia-Trump investigation that Mr. Mueller is conducting is a snipe hunt. And as many of the members of this committee have indicated, however, there does seem to be damning evidence related to Russia and Hillary Clinton's State Department. If there had been as much evidence, in my judgment, against the president as we have against the Obama administration and Mrs. Clinton, I'm afraid Mr. Trump would have been burned at stake by now. There's a clear inequity. The FBI and the Department of Energy court documents detail an extensive, coordinated scheme of kickbacks, bribery, extortion threats, and general wrongdoing related to the acquisition of an American uranium trucking firm and the Canadian mining company Uranium One by the Russian nuclear giant Rosatom. The FBI investigation obtained an eyewitness account backed by documents indicating Russian nuclear officials routing millions of dollars to the U.S., which benefited the Clinton administration, or Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Foundation. Despite this evidence, rather than bring charges in 2010, that was not on your watch, the FBI continued the investigation for 4 more years and allowed the acquisition of 20% of our strategic uranium supply to take place without informing Congress. The head of the FBI at that time was Robert Mueller. So, General Sessions, I guess my question is really sort of just one for the record here. I think the committee is about to close up here. What do you think the Justice Department can do to correct this seeming lack of or reversal of priority here and what appears to be to some to be an injustice? How can we just look at the evidence and the facts for what they are and do what appears to be the right thing?
Well, you raised a question that we have much going on in the Department of Justice. Yesterday, I sent, I believe, to you and to the chairman and 15 or more members of this committee a response to a request that you made some time ago that we're going to bring in independent prosecutors to review a host of matters out there so I can look you in the eye and tell you that we've done the right thing and we've done an objective evaluation of matters that have been raised by this committee. And hopefully we can decide if there's some matters that need to be investigated. Some may need to be closed, some need to be open, some may need more money and resources and agents. So I feel like that's my responsibility. I don't believe that is a giving in to politics. I believe that I should evaluate your request on the merits, and you raise some matters that I think I'm duty-bound to respond to.
Well, General Sessions, I'll just put it like this, that sounds pretty good to me. And I appreciate you appearing for the committee today. Are there other, oh, we have other, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't have a question.
After the battle's over, they
yeah.
always show up for dinner, you know.
I just was going to ask unanimous consent, since there's been all this stir about senators meeting or not meeting with Russians. I would ask unanimous consent to have this part of the record. It is an article from March 3rd, 2017 by Katie Pavlich. It's a list of Democrats who also met with the Russian ambassador, and then also this article from June 26 regarding Senator McCaskill's tweet that she got no call or meeting with Russian ambassador ever. And then it turns out, the article points out, actually she met with the Russian ambassador at his home, and I would like those in the record.
Without objection. And now the gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes. So,